You want to track your $1,400 third stimulus check, and you want to use the Irs.Gov Track My Stimulus Check tool. And it returns a result of no information, or a result of March 17th, or a result that confuses you. In this video, I'll go over the IRS Track My Stimulus Check tool, the transcript function of tracking your stimulus check, and I'll go over all the details you need to know on tracking and not tracking your stimulus check under the third stimulus package, as Mornings LALATE continues, starting right now. Good morning, and how are you? The toastess is toasting and the butter is buttering. If you have not subscribed, make sure you subscribe. We've had a lot of fun this morning. On Mornings LALATE, at the top of the hour at 9 o'clock, I went over everything about your stimulus check and the breaking news from the White House about why the stimulus checks will be landing earlier than the second stimulus check. Faster, earlier, however you talk. Also, the video right before this went over the Direct Express card specifically. Let me recap just one notion. It's currently about 10:15 on the West Coast. Viewers in the chat of that video said no one has still received the $1,400 third stimulus check on the Direct Express card at the time of that live recording at 10:15 Pacific Standard Time, which is about 1 o'clock 15 on the East Coast. In this video, we're going to go over the Track My Stimulus Check tool of the IRS. And I encourage you to interact with me later in this video. So stay with me to the end because we're going to have a Q&A in this video as well. Much like the Direct Express, it really helps. If you've not subscribed, make sure you subscribe. Also, like this video, and if you've not become a member, consider becoming a member. IRS has 3 tools to track stimulus, and the most mentioned one is the Irs.Gov Track My Stimulus Check tool. Does it work? What does it reveal? And what should you take back from that information? Let me explain it right now. The Irs.Gov Track My Stimulus tool launched first in 2020 doesn't generally work. But what I'm going to explain to you is where the information is beneficial and where it's not. First, if you do Irs.Gov Track My Stimulus Check and it reveals no information, do not worry. That is when the tool generally doesn't work. For some reasons, it returns no information. And you should not think that that's an indication that you are not a recipient of a stimulus check. Ultimately, if you type in your information and you get nothing back, don't worry. It means much of nothing. Second, if you go to track your stimulus check and it provides you an amount that indicates the exact correct amount for your household, this is where the tool really works well. If you're a 5-person household and are waiting for 4 times $14 stimulus check to show up, and when you track your stimulus check, it shows exactly that amount, you're in a really good circumstance. That is when the tool works the best. On the reverse, if you have a 5-person household and you go to track your stimulus check and it only reveals a check of a 1-person amount or a 2-person amount, don't worry. Again, this is where it may not be reliable. But let's turn to the most common result that viewers of this channel have gotten when tracking their stimulus check. It says a date, and the date is March 16th. Before I get to that March 16th date, I want to say a couple things. In the second stimulus package, when people tracked the stimulus check of the second stimulus package, it revealed a date. And when they got the date, this is what viewers did. They took that date as an indicator of when they are physically getting the receipt of the funds. And when they did not receive those funds on that date, they freaked out. In fact, what happened was that some viewers got the stimulus check, the second one, before the date, and some got it weeks after the check. This is a little bit different this time around. This time around, it's indicating a March 17th date. So what does that mean for you? This is the first thing you need to know. It does not mean that IRS is sending the stimulus check on the 17th. It does not mean that. And while you may think that you're tracking when IRS sent out the check and it says March 17th, that's not what it's intended to mean. IRS sent out all stimulus checks on Friday. So why would it show a March 17th date if they sent the check out on Friday? Does March 17th mean that I'm getting my stimulus check on March 17th? Hard to say. This is what I'm saying to you is the following. The day in which IRS send out the stimulus check, we know that. It is a factual item that is not in dispute. It was sent out last Friday. So can you use the IRS Track My Stimulus Check tool to learn what day you are physically receiving it? No. This is where the tool is very confusing by the nature of its existence. The IRS sent out stimulus checks to Bank 1 and Bank 2. And people are going to IRS to see when they're receiving the stimulus check at Bank 1 and Bank 2, and IRS is saying the same date for both banks. Well, the IRS has no way to know what date the bank is going to release the funds to you because IRS doesn't track when banks release funds. So Bank 1 may release the funds on March 17th. Bank 2 may release the funds on March 16th. Here's another example. Countless viewers have already received their funds, and IRS's Track My Stimulus tool says it says March 17th. Why does it say March 17th when they already gotten the funds? This is where it doesn't make a lot of sense. So here's an example. When you go to NORAD on Christmas to track Santa, you're tracking when Santa's arriving at your house. When you go to IRS Track My Stimulus Check, it does not tell you what day the stimulus check is landing in your house. It only tells you what date it has in the system. And so what you need to know is that ultimately, the only way to track the receipt of the date that you're receiving the stimulus check is by communicating with viewers of this channel in the chat. When you're chatting with other viewers, ask them, who shops at my bank? Did anyone get their stimulus check? And if they say yes, then you're in a good circumstance. Here's where we are so far. On Friday and Saturday, viewers of this channel who bank at Chime and bank with Cash App received their stimulus check. On Monday, viewers who bank with H&R Block and use the Emerald card receive their stimulus check. So what does that mean for you just at that point? It means that if we are going into now Tuesday and you bank at any of those institutions and you've not received your stimulus check, no need of concern. But if you give it a few more days, it is an issue of concern. For example, in one of the video right before this, one viewer said, I bank at Chime and I've not received my stimulus check. Well, I've had a lot of viewers who do bank at Chime and have received the stimulus check. So ultimately, it's a determinant of whether you want that to be part of your stress level or not. Understand, countless viewers who bank at Chime have received the stimulus check. So if you have not, that might be an issue you need to address. But for the big banks, a lot of big banks are listing March 17th as a date. What does that mean for you? Let me go over that detail now. March 17th as listed as a date could mean a lot of different things at a lot of different banks. Here's one possibility. It means the funds literally will be available to withdraw on March 17th. That's likely what it means, but it could also mean the funds could start pending on March 17th and be available sometime in the next few days thereafter. It could also mean that the stimulus check starts to pend on March 17th and is available on the 18th. Here's my prediction. While it's purely speculative, my prediction is if your bank says March 17th, it generally will mean the funds are available March 17th or March 18th. Why? Because banks who receive deposits generally don't hold the direct deposits for a pending status. It's a little bit different than a purchase status. Generally, if you go to a bank, for example, today and go to the teller and deposit a check for $1,400, the check may be held for clearance of funds until tomorrow morning. But that's different for direct deposit. In the case of direct deposit, most banks currently, but not all, when they receive the funds, they clear the funds if they're under $5,000 within 24 hours. So they may not show a pending status on the 17th. It may actually show the funds on the 17th. Every bank determines its own policies nationally, not locally and not at a branch level and not customer by customer. So if you're wondering if the IRS Track My Stimulus tool is something unique to you because of your particular bank, no. Every bank does it the same way. So ultimately, if you're using the IRS Track My Stimulus tool at Irs.Gov and you receive the same date that another person who shops at that bank gets, that is where it should be. Both of you should have the same result because you both shop at the same bank. How about the other two tools? Well, one of the tools is the transcript tool, which for some reason I've heard nothing from viewers from in the last 2 days. It was a very popular tool in December with the second stimulus check. And the transcript tool generally is a little bit more robust. You go to Irs.Gov, you sign in, you set up a username and password, and then you can see a transcript, request a transcript. You can see a little bit more about the stimulus check. Finally, the third instrument is the non-filer filing. It's no longer with us, so you cannot use that no-filer filing. If you used it before and it worked, congratulations. Additionally, while this is a Track My Stimulus Check tool video, I want to go over a major announcement, which I went over last night, I went over this morning, and I will not stop going over, which, if you're a member of this channel, you have gotten a copy of a link to this page. This is a new statement from IRS, which says, do not, repeat, do not use the amended tax return to request anything missing or needing to be fixed for purposes of the third stimulus package. So if you've gone to Irs.Gov and you're worried or you think your stimulus check is missing, even though it's too early to be worried about that, but let's say that's how you think, do not start filing amended returns. That is what IRS is saying. So when should you expect direct deposit if you see a March 17th date in your stimulus check Track My tool? You should likely see the direct deposit by the 18th. I think at this point, it's pretty careful to say that if you have tracked your stimulus check and Irs.Gov returns a March 17th date, or if you reached out to your bank and they've indicated a March 17th date, you're likely to see the stimulus check by the 17th. What about tracking your paper check? What about tracking your debit card check? Well, you don't have to, because I got the video for you. The video was released this morning by the White House. And here is the President of the United States telling the American people, don't worry, because whether it's paper check, debit card, or any other instrument, all Americans within 10 days of it becoming law will get the stimulus check in their hands. 10 days from last Thursday is midweek next week. So congratulations. If you're watching this channel and watching this video right now as expecting not a direct deposit, but a paper check, yours will be coming in the next few days. Here's that video again.
We're going to reach two goals in the next 10 days. 100 million shots in people's arms. 100 million shots. And 100 million checks of $1,400 or more in people's pockets within the next 10 days. We're on the way. Help is on the way.
And there you are. It's reassuring that the president made this message. If you did not watch morning's LALATE, it was sort of an anxious moment, because last night I ran a different video from the president in which he said 100 days you're getting a stimulus check. It was a mistake. It was a misspoken word, because he said within 10 days 2 events are going to happen. And then when he got to the stimulus check, he said, and also in 10 days, your stimulus check is going to come in 100 days. Yeah, just a little mistake there. But with that, let me turn to the live chat and see what the viewers of this channel are saying right now about when they check their stimulus check, when they track it. If you tracked your stimulus check on Irs.Gov, what do you see? Lisa says mine says on the 17th. Thank you, Lisa. That really helps. Anyone else track their stimulus check on Irs.Gov? Pam says my paper check will be here in the next 10 days. The way I interpret the president's statement is 10 days from law. So 10 days from last Thursday. Direct Express, no viewers have received the stimulus check by Direct Express. Thank you, Chef Roberto, for your comment. Has anyone, so there is, so now we're getting some comments. Francis says the 17th when Francis D tracks. Brenda tracks at the 17th. Bird 203 says the 17th. Anyone else who tracks, what do they get? Adrian says the 17th. T. Fisher says the 17th. So this is really good news. Thank you, Karen, for the super chat. If I missed anyone's super chat early in the video, my apologies. Nancy says the 17th. Nancy Taylor. Christina says March 17th. Linda says March 17th for Chase. Let's see what else. David says the 17th as well. There is Gail Shennett says the 17th. Cooks SI says the 17th. Adrian Larkin, the 17th. Brenda says the 17th. Earl J, the 17th. Roseanne, the 17th. Carol, the 17th. Someone else just said the 17th from their bank. So I'm assuming the responses I'm getting are for people who tracked it, not opposed to what the bank told them. Okay, so now you see the screen is flying. One of the things I wanted to go over, so you see a lot of 17th. Thank you, Simon, for the super chat. My bank said tomorrow, someone said. Nanette said, my bank said tomorrow. Congratulations. My said no information. Okay, so let me go over this one. Wesley said, track my stimulus check showed no information. So don't worry, because that was what I led with on the top of this video, that if you see no information, do not worry. There's another person. Christine says IRS says no information. So don't worry about that as well. Chuck says no information. The keyword is deposit, says Jeffrey. That's absolutely well said. Now, let me turn to something else which I forgot to mention early in this video. Where am I? Here I am. One of the things which I don't think I mentioned yesterday, and I didn't mention this video, I know, and this is breaking news. I heard from several viewers yesterday who had tracked their stimulus check earlier in the day and checked it on Saturday and last Friday, showed the IRS tool changed the information. So yeah, I have had viewers who have reported that the Irs.Gov track my stimulus check information has changed for some viewers. First saying nothing and then saying something, or saying one date and then saying another date. Goodness, there we are. Now let's end with some viewers sharing if their bank has told them anything about the 17th. If your bank has told you the 17th, help other viewers and drop in the comments if your bank has told you the 17th. Now, ultimately, we all know that the 17th at one bank may be to the 17th different in another bank. It may be processing, it may be pending. So Bob has information about his bank. Thank you, Bob. Joshi has information about Joshi's bank. Thank you, I appreciate that. Mine says not available. There is Tyler has information about his bank. There is Sherry has information about her bank. Miss Calby says no information yet from the bank. Gino has information about Gino's bank. Usha, let's see. Oh, now the comments are flying. I'm having problems reading it. Nanette says her bank says the 17th. That's really helpful. There is... my bank has no information, says Nicole. And there is Darrell. Thank you, Darrell, for becoming a Purple Hawk. There is Noreen with information about Noreen's bank. I'm repeating people's names because sometimes I don't know if it's a man or a woman because of genders, so for obvious reasons. Some of the, there's a lot of, don't know if Taylor's a man or a woman. Sometimes I can see a picture, so I have to zoom in, but it's a little hard, so my apologies. Shawnee says the 17th for Shawnee's bank. Adrian for Adrian's bank shows the 17th. Stephanie says my bank is the 17th. Good, great news. Sandy says her bank is the 17th. And there is Wear green on St. Patrick's Day. I forgot about that. Carol mentions her bank as the 17th as well. So you see why this is not helpful necessarily for me, but for you. If you are watching this live, look at the chat and look at when a bank appears. Bank of George. Bank of George. 3 people just said Bank of George. I'm making up the name. There's no Bank of George. I'm just using that as a hypothetical bank. Bank of George, March 17th. You see 4 or 5 people. I saw about 9 banks in just 10 seconds. Really helpful information. So if you don't know your bank, it may appear in the live chat. If you watch this video later in the day as a taped show, don't worry, because you can go look at the chat and see the responses as well. Meantime, I'm back with you at noontime LA, and we'll be doing this again. So join me on noontime LA when we go over the same subjects and we track it again, and we also do the direct express analysis as well. We may have new updates because deposits may appear in the next few hours as well. Thank you, Simon, for becoming a super chat, and thank you for joining me on Mornings LA. I'll see you in about 30 minutes from now as noontime home LA returns on LALATE.